Today I'm going to be teaching about my favorite subject, women being keepers at home. Um, a lot of godly women agree with me that women should be submissive to their husbands. They believe that they should obey them. They believe um, that they should be modest and chaste, discreet, sober, and good. But for some reason, they disagree with me on being a keeper at home. They feel that women should be able to work outside of the home or at least work part-time. And I just want to give you my reasons why I think that women should be home full-time. If you look at 1 Timothy 5, Paul wrote to women, to the widows, the older women, that they need to, if they cannot, do not have family that will support them, they should be the first ones that support them, family or relatives. Then the churches should support them. And the younger women, the younger widows, should marry, bear children, and guide the home. He could have easily told these women to go out and get a job, work part-time, do whatever you can to make money. But he didn't. He didn't say anything along those lines. The first Proverbs 31 woman looked well to the ways of her household. Everything she did was for her home. She didn't have a job. She didn't leave 5 days a week or 2 days a week, the whole day working. She sewed in her home. She probably sold things from her home. She had bought a garden with that money and planted it. And then there's not one woman in the whole entire Bible who has a boss, who leaves her home every single day, 2 to 5 days a week, and works for a boss. If you want to argue midwives, I know there's so many arguments, and women have given me many, many arguments to prove that women don't have to be, when keepers at home doesn't mean to be keepers at home. That midwives in Egypt, they were, there's always been midwives until recently, but they didn't hold office jobs. They were in their homes and they left when there was a baby that needed to be delivered. But the majority of their time was spent in the home, just as it has been up until just recently. Women were in the home and society was a much better place. So I worked up until I had my second son, who's now 31, and it was very difficult. I didn't feel like I was a good wife or mother. I would come home completely exhausted, having to take care of my little baby, and Ken was completely neglected, and I would think, in my head I'm thinking, oh, he's a big guy, he can take care of himself. But no, I was created first to be his helpmeet, and that's what I should have been doing, taking care of my husband. And then, taking care of my children and my home, all of that's a full-time job, women. And if you want to teach your children to love the Lord deeply, train them in the ways of the Lord, and discipline them to obey you, it's a full-time job. It sure was for me. And if you asked any little child who they wanted to be home with, if you gave them an option of mother, nannies, or daycares, every single little child would say their mother. Even if they weren't a great mother, they would want to be home with their mother. Children love home. They love order. They love scheduling. We have a preschool right down the street here, and we see these little babies being dropped off early in the morning at 6 in the morning, and the parents not coming home until 6 at night. The parents aren't even raising them, and it's just tragic to me. Mothers should be ones raising their children. They should have plenty of time to fix good, nourishing food for their family and shop for their food, and to keep their homes clean and tidy, and train their children to help with the home, to having chores and teaching them discipline and self-control in those areas too, and in eating healthy. And they should have extra energy left to be helpmeets to their husbands when they come home. Have set time for your children to go to take naps. My kids were in bed every single day from 1 to 3. They could, if they were older, they were right in their bed, but it was quiet time, so I could just rest. And I didn't use that time to do housework and everything, because I did it when they were awake and with them. I rested during that time, so I'd have energy for the evening. And then put your kids to bed when they're little at 7 o'clock, and when they're a little bit older, 8 o'clock. I always did this. So I had plenty of time, downtime, to rest, and then if I was really sick, I didn't have to worry about going to a job the next day. There wasn't that anxiety. So home is a wonderful place for mothers to be. And no one will ever be able to convince me that it's not the way it should be. So it's going to be up to you. You'll hear a lot of different controversial statements about it. Differing, not controversial. I said that too much lately in my tapes. Differing views about what I teach and what I say. But you study the word for yourself. And if your husband doesn't want you to be home, pray about it. Just ask the Lord to convict him and live simply and carefully. And during the weekends when you're home, show him how wonderful a home is with you there. Because many women have been able to convince their husbands with a godly, gentle plea to them about being home, because this is the place where women are supposed to be, keepers at home, just the way God created it, and His ways are always by far the best.